The Ranger Report, yeah, the Ranger Report. If you want the inside scoop, listen to the Ranger Report. Oh, here we go!
This is the Ranger Report Podcast. News, insights, predictions, interviews, and information about the Texas Rangers from the major leagues to the minor leagues. And now, here are your hosts, Ben Dieter and CJ Berryman.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Ranger Report Podcast. I am Ben Dieter. You can find me on Twitter at BDieter75.
I'm CJ Berryman. You can find me at CJB_RR on the Twitter.
With our new fancy backgrounds we got going on here. So we've been upgrading and seeing how things are working. But speaking of that, we are always brought to you by Walton's. Walton's everything but the meat, CJ. I mean, there's nothing I cook where I don't use Walton seasoning. I've told you before, their pork chops, I use their ultimate pork chop seasoning, which is amazing. I use their, butter garlic. My daughter actually puts that on her cucumbers when she eats them because she says it makes them delicious instead of boring. So I've actually had to buy 3 of those because she goes through it so quickly. But you mentioned earlier that you're cooking tonight?
I am. I'm making some burgers and I'm going to use the Better Burger seasoning. And man, it makes a huge difference on the burger. I mean, I'm going to throw some Worcestershire on it tonight too, just a little bit. Yeah. But usually on Sundays I like to grill or cook a burger or something like that, make a steak or something. But yeah, I'm doing a burger. I did a burger last Sunday and man, it was so good. It was so good. So I'm going to do it this week, and I'm going to dabble a little Worcestershire on there. So yes, Thank you to Walton's for that seasoning. And there's another seasoning I'm going to try this week with some fajitas.
Yes.
So I will, on our next one, I'll let you know how that one goes.
But besides seasonings, if you make your own meat or sausage, they've got meat grinders, they've got casings, they've got everything you need. And you can go to meatgistics.com and watch videos of all kind of great stuff. They have some great people there and they make some great videos. So don't forget to go to www.waltons.com and check them out. And they have been a sponsor of ours for quite some time. And we are very appreciative of them.
Our first ever sponsor.
And now, as you heard off the top, we have lots of commercials, but Waltons is still the best because they are the personal one to us. So
yes, they're near and dear, and Austin's a good friend of mine. And so, good folks, good seasoning, good stuff for your meat pleasure.
that was good. Now you should convince Austin to have that be their new slogan. Great stuff for your meat pleasure.
Oh, I cracked myself up.
Hey, speaking of that, CJ, where'd you get that hat?
Hey, got this on our website. This hat is awesome. It's my favorite one. So it's red, white, and blue, as you can see. Mesh back here. There's some padding here at the front. Sorry, my background's kind of messing me up. We're gonna get that figured out too.
We are.
We're gonna edit that. But yeah, there's a mesh padding up here. It's so soft and flexible. And oh boy, Ben, you did yourself in on this one.
Yeah, I like that. I'm wearing the Ranger Report shirt. So are you. You're both wearing that. I'm wearing the Ranger Report baseball bat hat. So we got all kind of stuff on there you guys need to check out and purchase it, as well as our Patreon, which you can get ad-free versions of the podcast. If you become a $5 or more a month Patreon, you get ad-free podcasts, and you can directly message us on Discord, which I don't really use because nobody's joined that yet. But if you do, I'll respond to you on it. So anyway,
Discord's pretty cool. Y'all should try it out.
Yeah, it is really nice. So we got lots of great stuff going on. Of course, you guys have heard, I mentioned the commercials there just a minute ago. We've joined a network. It's helping us make a little money off the show now, which is fantastic. So we can upgrade stuff like we are the new recording software we're using here, which is a little cleaner and neater than Zoom, and it's going to help us with guests and all that. But anyway, we're not here to talk about all that. We're here to talk about the Texas Rangers. So let us review the week that they had. Of course, CJ, if we did this show earlier on in the week, we would have said what a terrible week it was.
Oh, I was mad.
Swept by the Reds.
And yeah, after that series, after the two bullpen meltdowns, where they should have, I mean, they were comfortably ahead, and then whoop, there it went. And then unfortunately, everybody was to blame there. Cole Reagan's, our buddy Cole Reagan's, his ERA shot up
Yeah, he had a bad day.
mightily after that one. But then he came out today against the Yankees and was humming at 97, 98 miles an hour. That's the kind of stuff we want out of Cole, especially if he's going to be in the bullpen. I know he probably won't put that much effort into his fastballs if he's starting. Got to be able to go a little longer. But it'd be cool if he could. I mean, he might. I mean, who knows? But yeah, that was bad. And I was actually thinking about the next time we did a Rangers podcast, how that if you asked me after that Cincinnati series if the Rangers would be a contender, I would say yes. Would they be a serious contender? My answer would be no. And that was because of the bullpen. And I still actually hold that firm, even though we just took 3 or 4 from the Stankies.
And we'll talk about that in a minute. Quite impressive on game 4 today. That
Reds series, a bad Reds team. But and credit to the Reds for playing those games all the way through.
Yeah.
The Rangers, they had no business winning those games really, but they fought and battled and got to the bullpen and then took advantage of other opportunities, and they swept the Rangers. So credit to them, but that's just, I wanted to see a Rangers team finish when they were, put a team down when you have them down like that. And they were unable to do it. And that right there for me currently has me, they're a contender right now, I would say. But as far as a serious contender, to do some damage, some playoff damage or damage down the stretch, I can't say so at this moment.
Yeah. And the thing is, there's 162 games. They're going to have 5, 6, 7, 8 game losing streak somewhere in the season.
Terrible teams like Cincinnati.
They will. They always do. And Baltimore doesn't look so terrible anymore, losing 2 out of 3 to them.
No, and neither does the Rangers' next opponent, the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Correct. Yeah, correct. So we'll talk about that later in the podcast. But
strange year.
So they get swept by the Reds and then lose their 4th game. Yeah, lose their 4th game in a row to the Yankees, and then come out and just dominate for 3 straight games. Let's start with a couple of facts. This is their best April record since 2013, which was also 17-11.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the second most wins right now in the American League. And they'll be first place in the West by at least 2 games at the end of April, because they're 2.5 up on the Stros right now, and the Stros haven't played yet today when we're recording this.
Yep. So, and the Stros started off real slow, and we talked about that earlier. And we said, the Astros are going to be fine,
and they are.
They are, and they're going to be in the battle for first place in the West again. And it's just, if you want to win the West, you're going to have to take down Houston, and that's not going to be easy. I say that after the Rangers have already gone into Minute Maid and already played and swept the Astros, which that was a lot of fun. Yeah. So that kind of proved to me that okay, the Rangers are serious this year. Yeah. I think a lot more fans we're still a little nuclear overreactors, I guess you could say, early on in the season when they didn't. Just for a loss at any point. And again, we're coming off of being used to football and whatnot, but it's a long year, and it's to see that Houston series. Good to see this against the Yankees, packed house all 4 nights, and we're going to get into that Yankees game. But this Yankees series was certainly something that was nice to see, especially. Well, all around. Of course, you lost the first game. It's 4 in a row coming off that Cincinnati series, and you're just down in the dumps and kind of thinking, okay, we're in DeGrom. His next start during the series, leaves early, goes on the IL. We'll get more into that, and it was just kind of doom and gloom. And then you win 3 straight against the Yankees, and now you're riding high, going for a long road trip out west.
Yeah, so like you said, good thing Rangers 3 out of 4. So let's talk about that series a little bit. After we'll talk about DeGrom here in a minute and what happened. But after him, fans were a little disappointed, because that's the second straight game he left in the 4th inning with his arm not feeling great. But then Eovaldi comes out the next game and throws a complete game shutout 3-hit game against the New York Yankees. That's what you want to see after your ace goes down with maybe an injury.
Yeah, and how many people involved in that game, whether fans or one of the teams, thought that after Nathan Uvalde threw the first pitch at 6:00, that 2 hours and 6 minutes later, the game was going to be over.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Uvalde was rolling. He got ahead of. He was just attacking.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just straight up attacking. I'm trying to pull up how many Ks he had in that game. He was utilizing his curveball a lot more in that game than we'd seen previously. He had been, I want to say mostly, but high fastball and splitter and slider. But he was featuring that curveball quite a bit the other night, and the Yankees were behind in the count early, off balance early and often. And complete game shutout, you don't even see those anymore. It's almost like if you see a complete game, you look to make sure it's not a typo or something.
Yeah, or that it got rained out in the seventh.
Or it was rained out or something, or a combined complete game.
Yeah,
2-hit shutout. Yeah. So no, that was awesome to see. He gave the bullpen a rest. And
I mean, that's the Nathan Eovaldi we hoped we were getting when we signed him.
Exactly what I was about to say was that's the guy right there. That's Nathan Uvalde.
Yeah.
At his best. And we've seen there's been some games where he struggles with command a little bit here and there, but he's able to get away with it because he has excellent stuff. And, being able to throw high 90s doesn't hurt either. 97
sure.
on a regular basis the other night.
Yeah, for sure. So Eovaldi came back and bounced back. And then today, we're recording this on Sunday. Today, Martin Perez really took care of the Yankees again. I'll tell you what, you sent me a stat on him earlier, CJ. Why don't you talk about
crazy. That? So I remember talking towards the beginning of the season, and we were talking about how impressive the rotation was when you're 1 and 2 starters from last year, and now you're 3 and 4. And it's not like that they were bad. It's just because of who you brought in. And Martin Perez was your number 3 coming in. With DeGrom obviously going out, he bumps up to number 2. But I talked about how consistent he was. It seemed like almost every time you gave him the ball, you expected good, at least 5, 6, 7 innings. Well, you've been expecting that so much because today he hit 36 straight games with at least 6 innings pitched.
Yep.
That is called consistency. That is called being there for your team. Given 6 innings, you don't have to worry about going to the bullpen early. 36 in a row of pitching at least 6 innings. It's impressive. Crazy. That's crazy impressive. It absolutely is. And again, he didn't go out there and strike out a whole bunch of people today. But that's never been his MO. I mean, sure, he'll have games where he'll strike out, 7, 8 hitters. I think he had 10 a couple times last year, but he's not going to strike out a whole lot of guys. But he doesn't have to. He's been super, super consistent, and since he came back to the Rangers last year, has been their best pitcher overall.
Oh yeah, and you look at the Rangers going into the Arizona series with a day off tomorrow, and they now, thanks to Eovaldi and Perez, they now have a completely rested bullpen going into that series, and then going out west. Yeah, so you've got John Gray and Andrew Heaney going. So unless they explode, the Rangers bullpen will be well rested going on that road trip.
Yeah, and Heaney's been pleasant surprise. I'm going to be honest with you. I guess maybe it's because of the names that the Rangers brought in and the 2 that they had headlining the rotation and being more concerned about who's going to be in the rotation of the young guys. Because we were looking at, Cole Reagans and Dane Dunning, and maybe Cole Winn. Are they going to be able to fit in the rotation? And the answer was no. I mean, they had their 5, and Heaney was number 5, and maybe it was. I just overlooked him, and he's been pleasant. I was pleasantly surprised too. He got into a lot of danger the other night against the Yankees. He did a lot of danger and was able to recover and at least extend his start and go. Past the 5th inning, into the 6th inning. So,
well, have I told you when you looked at this rotation off the top of the year that one person would break Nolan Ryan's consecutive strikeout record, you would immediately go to Jacob deGrom. In second, you would go to Nathan Eovaldi. But Andrew Heaney is the one who broke Nolan Ryan's consecutive strikeout record.
Crazy! It's been a crazy, fun year for the Rangers, and that's what I said. Yeah, that's what we said here on the Ranger Report. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a year that we haven't had. And it seems like forever.
Yeah.
It really, I mean, if you look back at the last time the Rangers had fun on a baseball field, it's been a while.
Consistently,
So it's so.
By the way, another stat for you.
Go ahead.
They have now scored 10 runs or more in 25% of their games.
I think they're averaging 6 runs a game.
Yeah, but 10 runs or more in 25% of their games.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's just wild. And a couple of those guys we're about to mention, young bucks coming up big for the Rangers as Josh Young and Jonah Heim, who I want to get into a little bit more into Heim too.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to write something on him pretty quick. I thought about it today, but I'm going to talk minors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look for that on the Ranger Report website tomorrow, or which would be today. If you're
well, no, this will probably come out tonight. So
okay,
this will probably come out Sunday evening. So tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, tomorrow I'll be releasing a minor league article because there's more to the minor leagues and the Rangers than just Evan Carter, y'all.
But yeah, well, no way.
Yeah.
Of course, I perfectly remember this. I went to go back and find the tape, but I couldn't find it. I said the Rangers would be in first place in April and they'd be around 17-11 and be a fantastic team. I remember saying that. I just couldn't find the quote when I actually said that.
Couldn't find it. That's just
it got lost somehow in the archives. I don't know what happened.
Darn the luck.
But
man.
I could in this same shirt and hat put a fake date on the screen and pretend I said it back then. So I might go for that at some point.
Well,
for
you just outed
real.
yourself, so all the listeners are going to go BS. Ben, shut
no,
up.
I did not have the Rangers
comb
in first.
Your beard.
I did not have. Oh yeah, it does look good, doesn't it? Anyway, I did not have the Rangers in first place at the end of April. I can tell you that right now. Yeah. But speaking of that, we covered the good news. So DeGrom, it's not breaking news anymore. You guys all have already read, heard, and seen all this, but 15-day DL, my gut feeling, and I've talked to CJ about this, and I think he agrees with me, but I'll let him talk about it in a minute, is that it's going to be more than 15 days. I think DeGrom's out for a month at minimum, and because with recovery time and then warming back up and getting ready to pitch again, I think he's going to be out. I hope not 60 days, but I think he'll be out for at least 30 days, and I think it's a precaution because they'd rather have him later in the season than rush him back and get him hurt more this early in the season.
Yeah, and we talked before the season on our preview that you might see a couple, 1 or 2 DL stints from DeGrom. You just hope that it's not extensive. And I know it looks like this one would be, I don't know what you would consider extensive. 60-day DL would be.
That's extensive. Yeah.
That's extensive. And I think you're onto something with probably a month.
Yeah.
And I think that's the upside.
Yeah,
because they're gonna take it. They're gonna treat him with kid gloves, man. And I don't blame them. And like you said, they want him to be ready when it comes time to make that push. Later in the season. Now, obviously, you got to get there and you got to be in contention. But that's they're gonna play that smart and slow with him.
But honestly, at the beginning of the year, I had him under 100 innings. I think I predicted somewhere in the 60s.
I had him right around 100.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping, and I was talking to my dad this morning about him at church and this is kind of a wild thing because, Hall of Fame pitcher and one of the only to do this, win 200 games and save 200 games. We might be looking at a possible John Smoltz situation.
Yeah.
Where he just can't stay healthy, enough. Going the long innings and trying to come back and keep going the long innings was not benefiting him. So they made him a closer for a few years. Well, he was one of the best closers in the game for a few years, and then decided, okay, let's go back into the rotation, and then took off from there. It's obviously, like I said, rare because only one guy has gone out there and really done something like that. And obviously, he's a Hall of Famer. But I think you can see that because Jacob deGrom has closer stuff. There's no doubt. It's just you'd like to have him there for to start to finish type closer stuff. But
we'll see what they do with him. Again, I think overall, I think he'll be all right. I think that this is again, it was going to happen at some point during the season. I would hate for them in July or August to be in contention and then he go down for 30 days,
have this happen later on.
At least it's right here in April. He'll be back. If it's 30 days, he'll be back by June before the All-Star break. And I think the Rangers will be okay because of all the depth that they have.
So I'll give hopefully a couple of positives for the Rangers fans as far as involving DeGrom. Number one, just pretend he's not there.
Yeah.
Pretend he's not there.
Dane Dunning has looked like him every time he's replaced him. And I think Dane Dunning will probably be who replaces him in the rotation for now.
It is.
Yeah.
And They called up Yeri Rodriguez, who I brought this up on Twitter that we were bitching about the bullpen after the Cincinnati game and who could come up. And Yeri was the guy that I mentioned. Yeri Rodriguez. It was one of three guys I thought.
Yeah.
It was Yeri Rodriguez, Joe Barlow, and then Chase Lee. And I think you're going to see Chase Lee and Joe Barlow up here at some point.
Oh, I do too.
Chase Lee making his major league debut. The dude's insane. Yeah. Watch that guy pitch. It's crazy awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, just pretend DeGrom's not here. And he never was. Because right now you still have a very good team. You have a lot of depth. They're built they're not built to have. They're not a team that's built to where you lose one of your studs, you lose a top guy, and then your season's screwed.
Yeah,
they're built to win now. Chris Young wants to win right now. And the other positive is, for the most part, I'll say, it's when you start worrying about Tommy John type stuff, it's the diagnosis is forearm stiffness. It seems to be forearm stiffness. Something happens with the forearm, and then it turns out it's that ligament, that ulnar collateral ligament. Now this is elbow discomfort. So just hoping for the best, and just look forward. Just pretend he's not here, and then just wait and wait. When you start hearing that he's throwing again,
that's when we know he's coming back.
That's when you know it's going to be okay. And if the throwing sessions go fine, and I mean, just throwing the ball, that's just look for, wait to hear that. And then, then we'll go from there.
All right. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, let's hit the offense a little bit. You've already kind of started, but we'll jump in to some offense from today and just overall in this season right after this short break. All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's talk a little bit about, well, first of all, Josh Young had quite a game on Sunday with his grand slam, then another RBI on the bases loaded walk, and I believe he reached base 3 times. And then also Jonah Heim, Robbie Grossman had quite a day. In fact, it seemed like just about everybody got involved today.
Well, when you score 14 runs, or 15 runs.
15 runs, yeah.
But and poor Josh Young, he opens the game against a very good pitcher and hits a grand slam, and he can't even enjoy the limelight because everybody else, by the end of the game was killing Yankee pitching. So,
well, I got to say, though, I was impressed because he looked like he'd been there before.
Yeah.
Like when he hit the grand slam, it looked like just another day at the office for him. And that was pretty impressive for a kid hitting his first ever major league grand slam.
You bet. And he's through 100 at bats this season. And right now he's hitting 270. He's got a 5. He's got an OP 4 and 21 RBIs, 6 home runs. He's as advertised.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see, and he's playing really good third base.
Yep.
Nothing to complain about with Joe. And I think it's just going to get better and better.
Yeah, and don't he has been great. I agree with you. And don't we have some starting catcher who's out right now, or at least he used to be a starting catcher named Mitch something or other? But I'll tell you what, is there any reason in the world that Jonah Heim is not your starting catcher the rest of the year?
Oh, no, absolutely not. He's right now, he's been one of the best catchers, if not the best catcher in the league. We already know his defensive metrics. I'm not even going to go over that. That's a waste of time. He's one of the best defensive catchers in the league, bar none. Yeah. And the other one that you could compare him to in the AL as best catcher in the league is Jose Trevino with the Yankees. So, and it's nice to see, even though he's playing for the Yankees. Everybody. Yeah, but Trevino's a fan favorite. We all loved him, all still do. But
well, see, unlike
now, go ahead.
Unlike Mets fans, we don't hate on our former players.
No. Well, depends on who they are, but no, all the guys that are playing for the Yankees right now, it's New York Yankees, or it's Texas Rangers Northeast is what it is. Yeah, and they got Cole Calhoun just recently signed a minor league contract.
Willie Calhoun.
Well, no, they did sign.
Oh, that's right. Cole did too. That's right. Yeah, Cole too.
Signed a minor league contract. They got Willie Calhoun. They've got Isaiah Connor-Falefa. They've got Jose Trevino, and all guys that we liked whenever they were here.
Yeah.
But Jonah Heim, what he's doing right now at the plate, he's quietly hitting 303.
Yeah.
With a 978 OPS.
Yeah. And he's just hitting, and he's just knocking people in.
Did you see the home run he hit today?
Dude, yeah, man.
That was
I didn't put this on the list, but good gracious, the one Duran hit on Saturday night.
Oh yeah. That was and then that's Grossman. Duran and Grossman, and then then you have Adolis Garcia's piss rocket that he hit the other night.
Yeah.
That was just,
And today, another one today.
Yeah, he hit another one today.
Yeah.
The Rangers went back to back to back.
Yeah.
With home runs to really run away from the Yankees today. And then Robbie Grossman extended his hitting streak quietly to 10 games. He's got his average back up to 253.
A guy who, by the way, was struggling at the beginning of the season. A lot of people wanted to see him benched
already. Right off the bat.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I love Rangers fans. But Twitter brings out the worst in everybody. I saw a guy tweet.
It does. I
saw a guy tweet the other day that said once DeGrom was injured, that now the Rangers were immediately a 90-loss team because DeGrom got injured.
Oh my gosh!
I was like, dude, they're 17-11. It would almost be impossible at this point to lose 90 games.
It's funny. It's like folks are paying attention to what the Rangers are doing when they lose.
Yeah.
And they don't even know what their record is. They don't know that they're in first place in the West.
And they
don't know that they have one of the best offenses in the league.
Yeah.
They don't know that the pitching rotation is one of the tops in the league. And that's even without DeGrom. I mean, DeGrom back in there.
If they wouldn't have got DeGrom this year, I still would have had him at like 75 wins.
I mean, I probably would have pushed. I probably still would have pushed 80.
Yeah, I would have had him at least 75 wins.
I was a wuss to start the year and said I have him finishing a game above 500.
I didn't even have him that.
I didn't even go ballsy.
I had him 81 and 81, so I had him finishing right at 500.
Yeah, we didn't reach that much, did we? On that, we tried to play it safe. But
we played it safe on that one for sure.
They only won 68 last year, and the streak of losing seasons obviously has its wear on even fans like us.
Oh yeah.
Or die hard into it. It's just like we haven't. I mean, we're celebrating when Ezekiel Duran and Josh Smith get called up. After the Gallo trade.
I mean, it's been a hard 5 years.
It really has, but it's getting exciting, and I think Jonah Heim. I think he could be, now that he's getting a national light on him, especially after this Yankees series. But from what he did last year, and Jose Trevino actually kind of helped him do that by going to, you know what I mean? Because
and Garver getting hurt, and then Trevino leaving pretty much forced Heim to be the everyday catcher.
Yep, but Trevino going and winning a Gold Glove in New York over Jonah Heim, who a lot of people not in New York and not in the national media didn't even know about.
Yeah.
Now he's got that light, and he's following it up, hitting 303 right now at the plate too with his defense. He made another crazy looking catch behind the plate, right above the umpire's head.
Yeah.
It looked like the ball was just hovering above his head.
Yep.
And I think we're looking at a perennial all-star catcher.
Yeah.
And a guy the Rangers could have catching for them haven't been the longest tenured Rangers catcher since Pudge Rodriguez, and I don't think I'm being too.
Not if he keeps playing like he is now.
Too drastic on that. No.
I think the only person in the whole organization that's not upset about that, but disappointed maybe, is I think Sam Huff was the backup plan if Heim didn't work out.
That's a thing.
By the way, I was going to talk to you about that. We're going to talk about that on the minor league podcast, is the woes of Sam Huff and how just Jonah Heim has kind of made him obsolete at the major league level.
Nobody's. I mean, the last 2 years, everybody's screaming Sam Huff, Sam Huff, Sam Huff, and he needed more time, and he does need more time still, and
he doesn't need much more time, but he just has nowhere to play.
But there's nowhere to put him. And he's got to learn, or he's got to show that he can handle the adversities of being sent down when I'm sure he expected to make the roster, and maybe Mitch Garver being an everyday DH and him being at least getting, regular catching opportunities to give Jonah Heim breaks. And we even talked about that. We don't think that Jonah Heim would catch 120 games again. Well, hell, he just might.
Yeah.
And it's just odd. And again, we'll get more into Sam Huff on the minor league edition.
I want him to be one of our topics of conversation. That'll be coming up Thursday.
What Jonah's doing this year and what he's done since with his opportunities, getting more and more work since he's come here. It's so impressive. I'm so happy for him. Yeah. And he's been certainly a leader on in the batter's box and behind it.
And I can't say it's surprising after watching him last year that he's doing that well. It's really not surprising, but it's amazing to me that he has started off as hot as he has this year.
Well, it's the consistency that we were kind of wanting to see more of. And last year, you could tell he got tired toward the end of the year.
Yep.
He was tired. And that's why we were talking about him. They probably want him to catch in 110 games, maybe 105 or, something like that. But when he's playing like he is right now, Bochy's already said, I'm playing the guys who are playing well. You're seeing Bubba Thompson out there a lot more now.
Yep.
Jankowski. Travis Jankowski's getting plenty of at bats, and Brad Miller's getting nothing.
Well, they can't. If you look at the stats, they can't lose when Jankowski's in the lineup.
No, it just seems that way. And in the outfield, I mean, with him and Adolis and Taveras out there in the outfield, or Bubba Thompson,
or Bubba, yeah. I mean, that's a fast outfield, man.
Good God! But also look at what Duran's doing now with his opportunities, playing short, getting regular at bats, because Josh Smith couldn't grab the reins of it. So. It's been fun. It's been fun for sure.
It has been fun. So, we talked a minute ago about our predictions at the beginning of the year. Has yours changed? I'll tell you mine first, because I had him at 81 and 81 at the beginning of this season. And even with the DeGrom injury, I feel more optimistic than I did at the beginning of April. I feel like this team now could win 85, 86 games this year. I feel like that they're going to be better. I mean, way better than I expected. Like I said, I had 81 as their top, not as their actual win. Like I didn't think they would do better than 81 and 81, but I'm starting to believe in this team. I'll tell you that. Watching, like you said, the offense, and here's the deal. They're not going to score 6 runs a game the whole season. They're not going to, have one of the lowest ERAs in the American League for the whole season. The bullpen has already had several major blowups, and it's going to continue from time to time. Even World Series champion teams have had major blowups in their bullpen. Bruce Bochy said earlier in the year that he, the Giants, one of those World Series teams, had an 11-game losing streak during the season. It's going to happen, but I now feel like this team can win 85, 86 games.
I'm saying that, and again, I think we were just, again, so beaten down the past 5 years. We were afraid to go too high. So, but yeah, I'm gonna kind of take a leap here and say, I could see him winning 88 games. Yeah. I could see 88 wins. And
I'm still burnt enough that I'm not going to go that high. I'm still jaded enough that I'm not going above 85.
I am, just because of what is bad is the Cincinnati loss and how I didn't feel. I still have to say that, as I said earlier, I don't think they're a serious contender right now, but that can change.
Yeah.
And I think they could win 88 games if the consistency is there, because I saw after this Yankee series how they can bounce back from that disappointment.
Yeah.
So I'm still on the fence as far as being a serious contender, but I'm going to go, I can see them being an 88 win team.
I'm a believer that this team can get a wild card spot now.
Yes.
Like
at the least, yeah.
I thought it was a possibility when the season started. Now I feel like it's not a probability, but it's more than 50-50 that they should be able to get a wild card spot.
Yeah, the probabilities, it's feeling better and better with each game.
And I'm sure if you check Vegas odds, which I don't really do, I bet that they've gone up on the Rangers making the postseason.
Oh, yeah. Would they have them?
Dude, I wish I'd have bought on them back before the season started.
I told you, let's put $1,000 on it.
We should have, man. We would have made some money this year.
I did not say that.
You didn't. Do that. No, we do not gamble. It's illegal in Texas, so we are not into that.
We don't gamble, and I don't think neither one of us has the cojones to go with, split 500 and go $1,000 on any.
Dude, I was going to say, I don't have $500. So that's not.
I don't either. I got a dollar. We could double up and we could make.
But if you guys keep downloading this podcast, we'll have more money.
It might change. So. Hey, come on, y'all.
Yeah. Like I said, so we're doing the double ad break. I put a poll on Twitter and people wanted the double ad break. So we're doing the 2 different ad breaks. Well, we have so much to talk about. Each show's been at least 45 minutes long. So I'm trying to hit an ad around 20 and an ad around 40 minutes just to get a couple in there. But, thank you guys again for listening. Yeah. We always say that it's been great. So that's our very long drawn out weekend review, but a lot has happened in the last week. So we had a lot to talk about.
I texted Ben right when the Rangers started pulling away from the Yankees today. And I said, dude, we've got a lot to talk about today whenever we get on the podcast. There is a ton. And I started listening to everything.
Yeah.
And there was things I was forgetting. and having to remind myself and be like, oh yeah, and oh yeah, and oh yeah, and
and I didn't even put Adolis on the list who we've talked about who's having such a great year.
There's not enough room for.
And I didn't put Duran on the list, who's having, again, like you said, is sort of taking reins there at shortstop.
Yeah,
and of course we didn't even mention Seager, who's starting to take ground balls and starting to get ready to come back. So.
Yeah, he's coming off of his throwing program, and now he's taking ground balls. Yeah.
So I mean, it's going on right now. They've got it, and again, just minors we'll talk about on Thursday's show. But yeah, it's the major league level. And one thing I wanted to mention, we'll mention that later. So anyway, yeah, but I am a believer that this team can now easily make a wild card. And I mean, they could. I'm not ready to say this yet, but they could win the division. I can see that as a possibility now.
Yeah.
But the Astros, it would count. It would depend on another team falling apart.
The Astros are going to have something to do with that as far as either they fall flat or some injuries happen. I don't think. I still think it's the Astros division, but the Rangers can certainly be in the hunt and battle for it. But I think the Astros, in order for the Rangers to win the division, I think the Astros are going to have a fall apart in some fashion. But if they're healthy, I just don't see them not. No,
the Astros are a 90-win team if they're healthy.
Yeah, I don't see them not winning 90 games and win the division if they're not healthy.
All right, so we're going to take another short break, and when we come back, we're going to look ahead at what the Rangers have coming up, their road trip, and also a little bit of preview of what our minor league edition will be on Thursday. So after this break, we'll be right back. And we're back. Welcome back to the podcast. Let's look ahead. The Rangers have they have an off day tomorrow, first of all, and then they have 2 against Arizona.
You mentioned earlier. 2 off days in 4 days. So
yeah, no, they got 2 against Arizona, then an off day before they start their West Coast road trip. But Arizona's a little bit better than people expected them to be, so that ought to be an interesting series.
They're the first in the AL West right now.
They have Gray and in the NL West. They have you said AL West.
The NL West.
Yeah, they have Gray and Eovaldi
correct me in front of my friends, Ben.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Well, if I wouldn't have corrected you, Chev would have. So I had to jump in there. I had to jump in there and beat Chev on correcting you on that
dog
one.
Me. Damn you, Chev.
Dude, we love it.
He's done it before. He's done it many times before. So.
I love it. I love
the fact we love it. We love
that he listens to every episode and finds our mistakes. It's awesome, dude.
I think he just listens to every episode to find something that.
And that's great. I love it.
Be like, hey guys.
If you hate us and you're listening to every episode to find stuff wrong, I'm good with that, man, because you're still listening to every episode.
Chev doesn't hate us, though.
No, I know he doesn't. Chev loves us.
Yes.
But anyway, Arizona first in the NL West. But yeah, they are not kind of what we expected. But the Rangers have John Gray and Andrew Heaney going. So what do you kind of expect from that Arizona series? Arizona can hit the ball, too.
I hope to see. Yeah, they've got some serious. They've got some guys that have just come out of nowhere, and they've been stinking for so long. And I get to see some of their minor leaguers here in Amarillo, the Amarillo Sod Poodles, who Frisco beat today here in Amarillo. They are the Diamondbacks double, and they've been pushing through a lot and top to bottom. And they're loaded with young talent, and it's showing right now. Now, they don't have much. I mean, they've got Evan Longoria. Did you know that? The guy's still around. Yeah. But yeah, Evan Longoria is there. He's not doing that well this year, but that's really the name.
104. So.
Well,
no, but he's got to be upper 30s. Evan's got to be upper 30s by now.
Yeah, but I'm trying to pull up their stats, and then hang on. Let me pull it up because they're.
Yeah, but he's had a great career. But yeah, in Arizona, I mean, as you age, you got to change the way you play, which he has. But he was a premier third baseman for all his time with Tampa Bay.
God,
he was fantastic.
Years,
I hated him when he played the Rangers because he always seemed to get that big hit that Tampa Bay needed to beat us.
Yeah,
although we did knock him out of the playoffs twice, so I was good with that.
Yeah, and big game James Shields wasn't so big game, and then was he?
Not against the Rangers.
I couldn't stand that dude, but he's a hell of a pitcher. But
oh yeah,
yes, the Diamondbacks these are not the same Diamondbacks that you've been seeing for. I mean, longer than how bad the Rangers have been.
Yeah.
And
So
they've got
Arizona
some kids down there.
They're coming in with some
that,
serious young
that can
talent.
hit.
Corbin Carroll,
And number one,
they've got some damn good pitching too.
minor league phenom that they had. He went straight from Amarillo to the majors.
Yeah.
I mean, so AA, skip AAA, might happen to Evan Carter, but we'll get into that on the minor league podcast. But it's just awesome player, hitting 309 right now. They've got a shortstop named Geraldo Perdomo.
Ooh.
It looks like Geraldo, but it's Geraldo, I think.
Arrado.
Perdomo, hitting 383.
That's pretty good.
383. So yeah, and their catcher Gabriel Moreno hitting 301. A lot of guys, not many names, like I mentioned Evan Longoria.
Yeah.
He's hitting 218 right now. He did hit a homer today.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the low, and Ketel Marte is also in there. Corbin Carroll, a man left. Ketel Marte is still a pretty salty ball player.
Yep.
They're not the Diamondbacks of old. So this is, while it looked like it was going to be a stretch of Rangers playing against some bad teams, not the case this year when it comes to the Arizona Diamondbacks. And pitching wise, Zach Gallen is 4-1 with a 2.15 ERA. A whip a 0.77.
That's pretty good.
Yikes!
Who are they throwing? Who are they throwing against us? Do you have that up?
I don't think they've shown yet. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can look and see.
Yeah, we got Gray and Heaney, and Gallen's actually pitching.
Gallen's pitching Tuesday.
Yeah, he's.
And they don't have anyone up for Wednesday yet.
Nobody up for Wednesday.
Yeah.
Gallen 4-1 with a 2.15 ERA and that whip of under 80. Yeesh. Under 0.80.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive right there. I mean, and they, again, like you said, they're a much better team than they've been in the past. So that ought to be a fun series. I'd be happy with a split in that series if the Rangers come out 1-1. I'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and then you get another day off, which after this stretch, I mean, they had no days off for quite a while. I don't know how many days in a row
I can bring it up. Yeah, I can look.
But yeah, they get 2 days off in between this short 2 game set.
10 straight days without a day off.
10 straight games.
Yeah.
And before you go on that dreaded West Coast trip that we hate every year because
you've got the Angels, you got Seattle, and you got Oakland. You got 3 Angels, 3 Seattle, 4 Oakland on that trip.
So that's going to be fun.
But hey, for Oakland, I hope that'll go well.
Yeah, in that crap stadium that they've got.
Oh, what are you talking about? They love that place. Hey, that place is famous for a possum.
Yeah,
they had one in the press box.
Yeah, there was another one earlier this season. I think it was about a week or 2 ago. There was another one.
Yeah,
I think it was like up in the bleachers though.
Yeah.
But yeah, they pack that stadium. They get after it. You know, they're in Oakland.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a beautiful stadium.
So yeah, you like to see 3 or 4 out. I mean, you like to win each one of these series. The Rangers right now are better than each of them, but come home with a winning record on that road trip, which is always just seems like a difficult road trip. And I don't know.
Yes, it is.
We have to stay up later to watch it or what, but at least they're starting a little earlier.
Division games are always different because a division team can beat you even if they're bad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you remember Oakland came back and beat us the first game of that series earlier this year.
Yeah.
In Arlington. So the chances of possibly splitting with Oakland in Oakland are pretty high. You know, the Rangers should go 4-0 in that series, but because it's division and then also late night games probably throws the Ranger players off a little bit because they're used to playing at 7 Central and instead they're playing at 7 Pacific, which is 9:00 our time, so it's a little bit different for them. But I think
them up a little bit, like to 6.
I think they're 8. Yeah, I think they're 8:40 now. Yeah,
whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, that means we still got to stay up till after midnight. Well, not anymore actually.
No, because of the way that's a good segue.
That's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing for the West Coast games is they'll be shorter now. And I know you wanted to mention something about that before we got off the air here.
Was the new rule changes? Not many people are talking about them right now. Now, the first 2 weeks of the season,
that was all it was being talked about.
People were bitching or were loving it. It was all anybody was talking about was, oh, this is great. Oh, this sucks. Blah blah blah. Man, the games have been shorter, which is awesome. And nobody wants to sit there and watch the batter take a step out after each pitch and adjust his jock and pat his helmet, adjust his gloves, and call his wife or whatever, girlfriend, and then step back in the box. And nobody wants to see a pitcher strum around the mound just after every pitch, I keep thinking of Kelvin Escobar from the Blue Jays when I.
Oh yeah, good gracious, man.
Blue Jays,
the human rain delay.
Yeah. So, and so the game, like I said, that 2-0 game the other night with Uvalde going the distance, 2 hours and 6 minutes, and most games are under 3 hours. They're about, I'd say, 2 hours 45 minutes.
Yeah,
something like that. And then the shift. Haven't heard much about it anymore, and I think it's actually improved the game. To be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at the Rangers batting average and how many 10-run games they've had.
Right, but I mean, just in the sense of, you can still shift. The shift isn't dead, but you just can't put 18 guys in right field against Joey Gallows of the world and stuff. But limiting them to, hey, you play shortstop. The position is shortstop, not second base. The position is second base, not rover. You know, stuff like that. So I liked it. I like it, and I think it's this season. Those two rule changes have been good for baseball, and it's good that people have accepted it now. And I mean, nobody's talking about it, and I think it's made, both rule changes have made the game more enjoyable again.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, and again, no one's really talking about it. I'll tell you who does love it though is the beat writers.
Oh yes,
they're getting home an hour earlier than they used to.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Jeff Wilson has said several times how much he loves the new rule changes.
Yes. Oh, and I remember covering high school football games and stuff, and not getting home. Oh, good Lord!
I've been doing, I've been doing high school baseball here lately in my hometown. I've been doing the stadium stuff, running the scoreboard and doing the announcing and stuff. And those games still don't have pitch clocks and stuff, so they're taking as long as major league games, if not a little longer now, with no commercial breaks.
And
they're only 7 innings. And they're only 7 innings. But anyway, that is the Ranger Report podcast. I wanted to do a quick preview of our upcoming minor league one. I already said we're going to talk about Sam Huff and what his future might be with the Texas Rangers. CJ is going to bring up that there are more minor leaguers than Evan Carter right now in the minor leagues. You can
get a preview of that when my story comes out tomorrow.
Correct. And then we'll talk about it on Thursday, as well as should fans be worried about Jack Leiter? That's something that I want to bring up on Thursday's podcast because – well, it's just not going well for him.
Now, for to defend him, every pitcher hates coming to Amarillo. Zach Kent last year was rolling, and then he came to Amarillo and I don't want to say got lit up. He said he hates. Everybody hates coming here to pitch because the thin air.
Hitters love it. Pitchers hate
hitters love it. Yeah, there's the air's thin here, and left field is like, from my apartment to my trash can.
It's not very far.
So it's short.
Yeah, you can sneeze a ball over the fence.
I'm not going to get on Jack Leiter for that one.
But I'm saying overall, he's still a double A and he's not being dominant.
No.
So it's just something I want to talk about. I'm not saying that you should be worried about him. I'm saying we're going to talk about it. So it's what they call a teaser. You have to tune in to see what we say.
Yeah, and I am ruining Ben's tease. I'm surprised he's not yelling at me and cussing me out.
Sorry. Anyway. We just lost all 5 of our viewers. So anyway,
good God.
And then also I wanted to talk a little about some of the lower leagues, which CJ's talking about. And then just, overall, I mean, every team right now is above 500 in the minor leagues and the Rangers. So all 5 of the Rangers organizational teams are above 500. And they may not be by the time we do the podcast Thursday, but they are right now. And that's a cool thing.
In the words of the great Borat, great success.
Yeah, they are. They've got pitching and they've got hitting at every level. And it's amazing to watch. So we'll bring all that up, talk about some things. So those are some topics, you guys. And also, you watch this podcast, you listen to it. If you got something you want to hear us talk about on the minor league one, shoot us a tweet or comment on Facebook or shoot us an email. I am Ben@therangerreport.com. He is Berryman CJ@therangerreport.com. So shoot either of us an email. And we will get your topic on the show. We'll give you credit. We'll say who sent us the question. Yep. So, in fact, I think we might start doing, as we get this minor league thing rolling, a minor league Q&A each week where we take questions on Twitter earlier in the week and then answer them on that Thursday show. So we are trying to be.
Chev, you only get one question.
Yeah, Chev, only one. But no, we are trying to be the one of the best minor league coverages on the internet. I know that our big competitors do a really good job, but Jeff knows everyone and their mother in the Rangers organization. Yeah. So he gets a little more access and their mother's mother. He gets a little more access than we do, but we're trying to be basically, right behind them.
Yeah. I think we are. And there was a while there before, Jeff
don't forget about the Prospect Times. They also do a fantastic job.
Yeah, in Prospect Times, they give us so much up-to-date information.
Yeah,
that
they
we
are so
able-
good at what they do.
Yes, the Prospect Times on Twitter, y'all. They're
Yeah, they are
legit.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
they just do it for fun. I mean, they just love doing it.
And they've got a YouTube channel y'all should check out where they
Yep.
post all kind of cool stuff. So you need to
Yes.
check them out too. Like I said, Rangers YouTube, Rangers podcast is growing. There are more and more every week out there that are covering the Rangers. So we thank you guys for listening to us. As I've said before, we are the longest running Rangers podcast on the internet.
Yes.
We haven't been consistent that whole time, but I began this podcast in 2011. So we were podcasting before it was cool. That's how we
That's
do
back
things
when it
around
was
here.
live.
Yeah, back
I
when it was
remember-
always live. Yeah.
I remember the first one I did with you. It was with you and David Cash, and
Yep.
we had to go live, and then we were live after Emily Jones's live podcast.
Yeah, yep,
So
yep.
that was awesome.
But yeah, and we will do more lives. We're going to do more YouTube lives, except we won't send the link out this time. So
Yeah, that was kind of a mess.
yeah, we won't do no more trolls. So we'll do some more of those. So y'all stay tuned. It's going to be a great season for the Rangers. It's going to be a great season for us. Thanks for putting up with us, figuring out where to place our ads and all that. Part of the new net. Oh, I forgot to mention that off the top too. Fans First. We are the Fans First Sports Network Rangers podcast, covering the Rangers for them. Of course, Dallas Sports Nation, as always, is what we are presented by because they're awesome and they give us access to the Rangers. So we've grown, guys. If you listen to the show when CJ first joined me, it was just two yokels talking about the Rangers, and we have grown quite
I
a
was
bit
on
since
my
then.
cell phone.
Yeah, you were on your cell phone when we started because we had no video when we started.
Nope.
And it was basically just you and me like having a phone conversation, but I recorded it.
Yep. And then from there,
We've had people like Abraham Alexander, Eric Nadell, Matt Hicks, Jared Sandler, Cody Bradford, Emily Jones, Zach Kent.
and
Yeah.
Taylor Hearn, Lady Ranger Report, Robin Hearn.
Yeah, we have grown quite sizably, and that's thanks to you guys. Again, we would have never joined a network if we weren't big enough to have gotten noticed. And the only way we were big enough to have gotten noticed is because you listen. So thank you very much. We really do appreciate it. I like to say it every week because I mean it every week. It's because of y'all that we're able to do this week in and week out and have a good time with it.
Thanks for listening to the Ranger Report podcast. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and at therangerreport.com.